Today we're going to learn how to solve multi-step inequalities. Really all we're doing is combining what we did with solving multi-step equations and solving 1 and 2 step inequalities together. So here I have negative 3 times 3x minus 2 is less than or equal to 42. Before I try to isolate x on one side of the inequality, I'm going to simplify the inequality as much as I can. So in this case I'm going to distribute this negative 3. Negative 3 times 3x is a negative 9x. Negative 3 times negative 2 is a positive 6, which is less than or equal to 42. Now that I can't simplify, it's time to eliminate. The easiest number to eliminate here is this plus 6. What's the inverse of addition? Subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 6 because that's what I want to eliminate. Make sure I do it to both sides of the inequality. I'm left with negative 9x is less than or equal to 42 minus 6 is 36. Now I've got to get rid of this negative 9. Since it's being multiplied to x, I know I need to divide, and I'm going to divide by negative 9 because that's what I want to eliminate. I make sure I do that to both sides of the inequality. What I'm left with here is just x. And because I divided by a negative number, I've got to make sure that I flip my inequality. So it was less than or equal to, now it is greater than or equal to. And 36 divided by negative 9 is a negative 4. Now I'm just going to quickly show you how you'd put this into the answer blank. Since x is already on the left side, I don't have to type x. I just need to begin with greater than, equal to, negative 4. Example number 2. Negative 2 times x minus 7 is less than 3 times x plus 3. Again, here I'm going to simplify before I try to solve. So negative 2 can be distributed. If I distribute the negative 2, what I get is negative 2x plus 14 is less than 3x plus 9. Now, because I have variables on both sides of the inequality, I know I need to eliminate my variable on one side. So I'm going to look in front of the variable to see the number. Since there's a negative 2 here and a 3 here, I'm going to choose the side that has the bigger coefficient. So I'm going to make this my variable side. I'm going to make this my number side. I'm going to get rid of all variables on my number side, and I'm going to get rid of all numbers on my variable side. I'm going to start by getting rid of this negative 2x by adding a 2x. If I add 2x to one side, I've got to make sure I add it to the other side. Negative 2x plus 14 plus 2x. We know that these simplify to 0, so we're just left with 14 is less than, and I can simplify my like terms on this side. 3x and 2x totals 5x plus 9. Now I'm to the point where I can actually start solving for x by eliminating these numbers on the variable side. The easiest one to eliminate is this plus 9. The inverse of addition is subtraction, and I'm going to subtract by what I want to eliminate. Make sure to do that to both sides. 14 minus 9 is 5, is less than 5x. Now I've got to get rid of this 5 since it's being multiplied. I know I need to divide, so I'm going to divide by 5. Divide by 5, and I'm left with 1 is less than x. Because x is on the right side, and in the answer blank it's on the left side, I've just got to flip my inequality around. So this is x is greater than 1. Can be rewritten as x is greater than 1. Now I'm going to type it in. X is greater than 1. Example number 3. Negative 8x plus 8 is less than negative 7 times 7x minus 7. Again, I'm going to simplify before I do anything, so I'm going to distribute this negative 7, and I have negative 8x plus 8 is less than negative 49x plus 49. Again, I have variables on both sides, so I'm going to look to see which number in front of the variable is larger. In this case, negative 8 is larger than negative 49, so I'm going to make this my variable side. I'm going to make this my number side. I'm going to get rid of all variables here and all numbers here. I'm going to start by eliminating this negative 49x, so I'm going to add 49x. If I add 49x to one side, I've got to add 49x to the other side. Now I can simplify my like terms on this side. Negative 49 plus, or 49 plus a negative 8 is 41x plus 8 is less than, these simplify to 0, so I'm left with just 49. Now I need to eliminate my numbers, so I'm going to start with this plus 8. The inverse of addition is subtraction, so I'm going to subtract by 8 on both sides. I'm left with 41x is less than, 49 minus 8 is 41. Now I need to eliminate this 41 since it's being multiplied to x. I'm going to divide by what I want to eliminate. And I'm left with x is less than 1. Now I'm going to come over here to my answer blank. Since x is already on the left side, I don't need to flip my inequality. I just type in x is less than 1, and we're good. Example number 4. X plus 13 is less than 13 minus x. Since I have nothing to simplify, my next step is to choose which my variable side is. Since a positive x is larger than a negative x, this is going to be my variable side. This is my number side. I'm going to start by eliminating the variable on my number side. How do you get rid of a minus x? Just add an x. If I add an x to one side, I've got to add an x to the other. Now I can combine like terms on this side. 1x plus 1x is 2x plus 13 is less than 13. These simplify to 0. Now I've got to eliminate my numbers. The easiest number to eliminate is the one that's being added. How do you eliminate something being added? You subtract by what you want to eliminate. So minus 13, minus 13. Once I simplify, I'm left with 2x is less than 13 minus 13 is 0. Now I've got to eliminate this 2. Since it's being multiplied, I know I need to divide. So divide both sides by 2. 2x divided by 2 is just x. Is less than 0 divided by 2 is 0. I'm going to come over here and type in my answer. Since x is on the left side again, I know that x is less than 0. Example number 5. 3x minus 3 minus 4x is less than negative 11 minus 2x. Before I do anything, if I can simplify, I'm going to. I've got like terms here. 3x minus 4x is the same thing as a negative 1x minus 3 is less than. I'm going to put this in standard form, so I'm going to move my variable to the front, negative 2x minus 11. Now I'm going to choose the side that has the larger number in front of my variable. Since negative 1 is bigger than negative 2, this is my variable side, my number side. I'm going to start by eliminating this negative 2x since it's on my number side. So I'm just going to add 2x. I'm going to add 2x. If I simplify my like terms on this side, I'm left with just 1x minus 3 is less than, these are 0, negative 11. Now I need to eliminate this minus 3 or this negative 3. How do you eliminate a minus 3? You just add 3. Make sure you do it to both sides. And I'm left with x is less than negative 3 plus negative 11 plus 3 is a negative 8. Since x is on my left side, when I go over here to my answer blank, all I need to type in is less than negative 8. Example number 6. Negative 8x, or negative 8 times x plus 6 minus 7 times x minus 5 is greater than or equal to negative 8x minus 8x. Before I do anything, if I can simplify, I'm going to. So I'm going to distribute both of these numbers. I get negative 8x minus 48 minus 7x plus 35 is greater than or equal to negative 8x minus 8x is the same thing as negative 16x. Since they're like terms, I can combine them. I can further combine like terms here. So negative 8x and a negative 7x is a negative 15x, and a negative 48 and a positive 35 is a negative 13 is greater than or equal to negative 16x. Now I've got to decide which is my variable side. Since negative 15 is bigger than negative 16, I'm going to make this my variable side. I'm going to make this my number side. I'm going to start by getting rid of my variable on my number side. Minus 16x, if I add 16x to this side, and I add 16x to this side, I can combine my like terms here. 16x plus a negative 15x is the same thing as just 1x. Minus 13 is greater than or equal to, these simplify to 0. Now I need to eliminate my numbers. Well, 1x is just x, so I need to eliminate this minus 13 by adding 13 to both sides. And I have 1x, which is the same thing as x, is greater than or equal to 0 plus 13 is just 13. So let's go over here to the answer blank. Since x is on the left side, I just need to type in greater than or equal to 13. Example number 7. Negative times 8x minus 5 is greater than or equal to, negative 8x plus 2. Since I can simplify, that's what I'm going to do first. This negative is the same thing as just a negative 1 if you want to write a 1 right there to help you distribute it. So I'm going to distribute this negative, and I get negative 8x, plus 5 is greater than or equal to negative 8x plus 2. Now I'm going to choose the side that has the larger number in front of my variable as my variable side. Since they're both the same, I'm just going to choose the left side because I know at the end I'm going to need the x on the left side, and I'll make this my number side. I'm going to start by getting rid of my variable. Negative 8x, if I add 8x to this side, I know that those will go to 0. Got to make sure I add 8x to this side. Now I can combine my like terms. 8x plus a negative 8x is 0x plus 5 is greater than or equal to 0 plus 2. Now I'm just going to simplify my equation, or my inequality, 0 times x is 0 plus 5 is greater than or equal to 0 plus 2 is 2. 0 plus 5 is greater than or equal to 2. You'll notice that there's no variable here. Because there's no variable, we just have to look to see if the inequality is true. Well, is 5 greater than or equal to 2? Yeah, 5 is greater than 2, right? So my answer over here is going to be infinite solutions. Sorry, I made a mistake on the video, so I had to go back and fix it. So real quickly, I'm going to just erase this part. Before I solve for x, I've got to make sure that I simplify it. So I've got 5x is greater than or equal to 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 1 is a negative 5 plus x. I can combine like terms on this side. 5x plus x is the same thing as 6x minus 5, which is, in this case, less than or equal to 5x. Now I've got to choose the side where the variable is bigger. Since the variable is bigger on this right side of the inequality, I'm going to make this my variable side and this my number side. I'm going to get rid of the variable on my number side by subtracting a 5x. Make sure I do the same thing to the other side of the inequality. Here I'm left with 0 is greater than or equal to, and I can combine these like terms. 6x minus 5x is just 1x minus 5. Now I've got to get rid of this minus 5. The inverse of subtraction is addition, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides, and I'm left with 5 is greater than or equal to x. Since x is on the right side of my inequality, I've just got to flip my inequality real quick. Since x is less than or equal to 5, I can rewrite this as x is less than or equal to 5. Now I'm going to come over here so that I can put it in, and x is less than or equal to 5.